Trump believes that Obama is to blame for the 2016 election hacking and now wants to open an investigation into it. And this comes as he hosts a Parkland shooting discussion at the White House. All of this and more right here on The Tea. Grab a cup and let's spill the tea. Your unabridged connection to mainstream news here on WHIP Radio, Philly's #1 college radio station. Hey everybody, how are you doing? I hope you're enjoying your week. As always, you are listening to The Tea on WHIP Radio, Philly's #1 college radio station, and I am your lovely, amazing, talented, brilliant host, Jon Dowding, the ever so humble as well. I say this every week because I don't know how to transition, but there is so much information with this first story that I want to go right into it and not waste any time. Today, President Trump requested in a tweet, say that 5 times fast, that the FBI investigate how the Obama administration was involved in the Russian meddling in the 2016 election. And this is questioning why Congress and federal investigators aren't probing how the Democratic administration handled certain issues. Now, currently, the House and Senate Intelligence Committees have interviewed numerous Obama administration officials about the election meddling, and these efforts focus on reviewing the intelligence community's assessment of Russian election interference and preventing future Russian attempts and not, quote, democratic crimes, as Trump was suggesting, according to the CNN Politics article. Now, there's 3 or 4 primary things the House and Senate Intelligence Committees are investigating. So, the House Intelligence Chairman, Devin Nunes, and the Oversight Chairman, Trey Gowdy, are investigating a Uranium One deal, which was made during Hillary Clinton's tenure as the Secretary of State. Trump and other Republicans are accusing the Russian company of donating to the Clinton Foundation in order for her to sign off on the Uranium One deal. House Republicans, as well, are also preparing to ask former FBI Director James Comey to testify as part of the Republican-led probe into the FBI and Justice Department handling of the Clinton email investigation. Comey's testimony, if he appears, would raise the stakes of the Joint Judiciary and Oversight Committee investigation into the decision not to charge Clinton over classified emails on her private server. And also, this investigation is a rare step for Comey to publicly announce that Clinton would not be charged, which would definitely raise eyebrows and definitely silence a lot of questions that people want to ask. The last 2 things that the committees are investigating is a series of text messages exchanged between top FBI employees referring to then candidate Donald Trump as a, quote, idiot and other insults were released to lawmakers last December. Before these texts were released, reports surfaced that Special Counsel Robert Mueller removed one of the FBI's top Russian counterintelligence experts from his team because of a internal investigation by the Justice Department questioning whether or not he was operating on political lines, especially when he was exchanging the messages that were in question, the text messages that were in question. And the last thing is the FBI and the Justice Department is being questioned over their use of the Steele dossier and FISA, as previously discussed in the previously released GOP memo, which was released maybe 1, 2, or a couple weeks ago. These are what the House and Senate are investigating about Obama administration officials' handling of the Russian investigation. This is what they're looking at right now. They are not looking at any mishandling. They are not really looking or investigating anything else. This is directly what they're looking at. So there's some significance in Trump's rationale for doing this. As always, the Trump administration, as well as the president himself, has resorted to diversionary tactics as a way to disperse attention from a certain matter going on. Right now, it could be a potential gun debate matter after the recent Florida shooting and all of these students acting out and doing things about it. And to be completely honest, President Trump makes a good point. This potential hacking happened during the Obama administration, not when his administration was in office. Now, obviously, there is the question of whether or not the Trump administration, the Trump campaign, was helped by the Russians, and if they helped the Russians as well. That is still under investigation. Regardless, there's a rationale as to why President Trump would say this. However, this is where it kind of turns tables. According to former Vice President Joe Biden, he said that Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, a Republican, would not go along with a White House-led bipartisan statement that was hoping to announce and condemn the interference campaign. Again, there's just many talking heads in this situation, and a lot of us don't really know who to believe or what to believe. So I feel that there's so much information with this. Like I said, the Senate is investigating, obviously, the Russian hacking into the election. The House Intelligence Committee is doing its own thing as well. So I think we're going to just have to wait and see what comes out of these committee hearings and what comes out of these investigations before we make any decisions about anything. Moving on. So today, Wednesday, February 21st, President Trump held a discussion at the White House for victims and family members of the Parkland shooting in Florida. The big story that came out of it was a father by the name of Andrew Pollock, whose 18-year-old daughter, Meadow Jade Pollock, was killed last week in the shooting. Particular line that stood out was when the father said, "There should have been one school shooting and we should have had it fixed. And I'm pissed because my daughter, I'm not going to see her again. She's not here." I watched part of the video as well when the father was speaking, and other things that he was saying was everybody else gets to see their kids at the end of the day, but for me to go see my child, I have to go to, and then he said the name of her cemetery. So some compelling words coming out of there, some moving words coming out of this discussion, and President Trump had to sit there and listen to it, and I'll give him credit for that, because let's get real, I don't know if he's that good at that, but that's neither here nor there. And so the president heard other emotional stories from the people affected by it, and however, there is some other story that is coming out of this that I think has actually been breaking tonight as opposed to during the day. In a photo from the event taken by a Getty Images photographer by the name of Chip Somodevilla, the president is holding a piece of White House stationery with 5 discussion points written in black marker. The visible points, we can see 3 visible points, include prompts such as, number 1, this is again quoted directly from the note, number 1, what would you most want me to know about your experience? 2, what can we do to help you feel safe? And we saw number 5, which was, I hear you. There's some backlash coming out of it that the president has to be briefed on how to deal with people. There was criticism saying that the president is not good at being the consoler in chief. I give him credit for sitting in front of a crowd of angry people and taking their criticism in a time of grief. At the end of the day, I think what will make or break it is what he does after this. Again, I'm a firm believer in the idea that your words mean nothing, your actions are what matters. So it doesn't matter what he says. He could say, I hear you, I see you, I feel you, I am going to do this, that, and the third, but it does not matter until change is made. And on that note, we are going to end this podcast. I feel like I talked a lot, especially about this policy in the beginning with the different investigations. It's a lot that's going on. And if you're interested more in learning about what the different committees are investigating, do a little bit of research on it. There's great websites out there that give a whole total rundown and analysis, and so you can learn a lot about them. Honestly, CNN Politics is great. NPR did a whole fact-checking thing about what the Obama administration officials are being investigated on. So look around, you'll find some good stuff. But on that note, thank you guys for joining in this week. As always, I will be around next week to talk about more political news and dissect it and interpret it and analyze it if we get the chance. So as always, you are listening to The T right here on WHIP Radio, Philly's #1 college radio station. I'm your host, Jon Dowding. Have a good one.